Hello, my name is Michael Dwyer, and once again, Rochester writers and the Rochester Hills Public Library have teamed up to host their annual author fair, now in its fourth year. We're hosting 20 authors in person at the library in downtown Rochester on Saturday, November 26th from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. These short videos offer you a chance to meet each of the 20 authors. And right now we're talking with Erik Bean. Hi, Erik.
Good evening, Michael.
I'm glad you could join us so we could talk about you and your book leading up to the author fair on Shop Small Saturday. And people might be reminded that you were here 2 years ago for our big virtual author fair with a different book. I'll remind everybody about that book, and then let's talk about the new one.
You bet. Yeah, that book was a 42-page, fully illustrated children's book called Ethan's Healthy Mind Express, a children's first mental health primer. And the book was created to help support students in various situations in school who have different challenges throughout the day based on their neurodiversity. And that book won 2 awards through the Royal Dragonfly contest in 2020 for second best for illustrations and second best for education.
Well, wonderful. And that was a gorgeous book. And I know it's very special and emotional for you because is geared around the loss of your son.
That's correct. Yeah, my son Ethan passed away in the summer of 2018, and my team and I, decided to make a book that would basically demonstrate some of the situations that he went through that involved inclusion, that involved his use of the internet, and so forth. And so that's what prompted that book.
Well, great. And I'm sure people will remember that, and you'll have that book available for the author fair. But we're going to talk about something a little different. Your new book is called Bias is All Around You. And that is true. Anyone that's been online or read a newspaper can see that. But what does your book tell us more about that than just knowing that it's there?
Yep. So Bias is All Around You is a handbook for inspecting social media news stories so that people can learn how to separate fact from fiction, because the internet, can be swirling with false narratives, fake news, and also it's controlled by, many corporate algorithms, that direct fake ads and fake news and all sorts of information our way. So in January of 2021, I decided to come up with a book that would be a simple tool, a 57-page guide that would provide tips and resources to help people separate fact from fiction from any piece of information. And in the book and throughout the years that I've been a teacher, I discovered that all information can come down to 7 sources, regardless of whether it's a video, regardless if it's a podcast, or regardless if it's a magazine, TV show, or a book. And so the book discusses that. And then I also elicited the help of the current director of the School of Journalism at Michigan State University, Dr. Tim Voss, who agreed to write the foreword of the book, to discuss things like transparency and authenticity and objectivity that we all need to be aware of. So really, before we share information, we need to vet that information. And that's what the book is all about.
Well, I know people, when you talk about biases all around you, we immediately think about politics, right? The last 2 elections, who were won by the leaders of different parties, were hacked or stolen or fraudulent. So it doesn't matter what side you're on, there's misinformation out there. But can this be used for other parts of your life that aren't so grand as far as politics?
Well, absolutely. It's not just for politics. It's for economic purposes, financial purposes, for all other aspects of our lives. If we share information that is poor quality, it's a reflection on who we are, and it can affect our mental health. So the book talks about something called cognitive dissonance. In other words, cognitive dissonance is basically you behave differently than your thoughts. So I preface in the book that, for example, if we go into a theater and scream fire, we would be arrested. But if we share bad information that could affect a lot of people, shouldn't that have ramifications too? So the book is about being a good steward of information. Information should be designed to help people, not hurt people. And so this book is a book for all ages. The book won 2 awards in 2022. We won a silver Nautilus medallion in the Nautilus Book Awards. We also recently won a silver medallion in the Reader's Favorite Award. And so the book, Climbing with the Awards, demonstrates to anybody, regardless of your background, regardless of your faith, political affiliations, that we need to understand that there could be fallacies baked into information. There's good information, bad information. And before we share information, we need to be more confident in it. And so, Michael, the book has a one-page form at the end where you can rate a piece of information for conflicts of interest, for fallacies, and whether or not your personal biases can interfere with you interacting with the information just by taking a 7-question survey.
Well, that's interesting. And we're almost out of time for this quick little primer, but did you test the book out? And that would be curious to know, is some of those results in there about how that worked?
Yeah, so I tested the book out in several classrooms throughout several months as the book was being constructed. And then I tied several assignments to the book so that, for example, students could follow a social media influencer and then use the form to try to rate the overall bias of that social media influencer. And then I also sent these assignments to the Henry Ford Innovation Top Teacher contest that they have on a yearly basis. And I won first place. There's 2 segments. There's 10 grand winners and 10 first place winners. And I won one of the 10 first place winners for the information bias studies associated with this book. And while no system is perfect, and there is no perfect system out there, it is a system where you can take a look at any kind of information, put it to the test in the form, and then decide whether you believe that it contains a certain amount of bias that you're comfortable with before you share it.
Again, very, very interesting. We're going to see you live at the 4th Annual Author Fair at the Rochester Hills Public Library. We're having it on Shop Small Saturday. That's the day, the Saturday after Thanksgiving. We look forward to seeing you there and seeing the book in person. I look forward to continuing our conversation because this is a really interesting conversation. So,
Thanks so
Erik,
much, Michael.
how would you like to leave it with everybody?
Just before you share information, apply the steps that we'll talk about when I see you at the book fair, which include critical thinking, as well as the various steps on the form where you can be more confident with the information. So we all have to do our due diligence and be good stewards of information.
Yeah, check your facts, check your resources, and know before you share, I guess, is part of that story. So we will see you, Erik Bean, at the Author Fair, the 4th Annual, on November 26th.
Can't wait. Thanks again.